Right, I've put together pretty much the construction drawings for this project, and this is just going to be a quick review, wrap-up of how I arrived at where we are. There's a few little adjustments that you might still want to make, so I'll just run these things by you. I have these second floor windows as close as I could get from measuring from the ground, and you can see the alignment here. So I think that's fairly reliable to fit something like this in, which is what I ended up doing. I brought my heel down to 6 inches on the inside, and the 512 at the top, which is 512 is what's on the top of your house, and 312 underneath. That is with a 6-inch heel here. These beams can be two 14-inch LVLs or three 11 7/8 LVLs. But if they're going to be 14-inch LVLs, you're going to have to either lower this bearing point here or just look out for the corner of that window there. Looking out this way, this is the beam at the top that carry a fan or whatever. Kind of looks sensible. This is this end trim where I began with, and we'll run through a little series of photos from the outside, and you can make your own judgment on that. And here is that series. First of all, these columns back here, originally had them about 10 inches out from the wall. I've moved them back, same thing, but I've moved those columns back where there's about a 4.5-inch gap. Anything larger and someone might get caught back there, but I wanted to push them back that way so that their little concrete pedestals can just run up against the foundation. I'm showing this spout coming down and dumping into this gutter here, and so originally I showed it something like this as far as the gutters. We'll ignore them for a minute and concentrate on what's happening up here. This is one way to do it, and I like this way as well as some of the others that come up. This probably has about 6 inches out here and 8 or 9 inside. And now these are these columns. These look pretty blank. These ones are just squared, and so maybe there is some molding or columns put like that. And you need to use the 6x6s to the connectors, but maybe this is a column wrap with some weatherproof vinyl molding at the tops and bottoms. I brought the soffit overhang in. It looked a little weak like this. That began to create some problems for me with its interface here, which led me to do things like this, where I was increasing the height of that outside of that, but it's just too much. I was bringing the bottom of it down to here, which I thought looked fine. And so I arrived at 2 or 3 final options, at least final kind of options for me. And let's go all the way back to this one. And this one works, except for there's a lot of tension right here at the corner of this soffit. So if this one's done, those soffits would have to end maybe halfway through these columns instead of flushing up with their insides. So the final couple that I ended up with in this one here, the inside of this is probably 10 or 11 inches inside, which is nice. It provides a sense of enclosure. They come down where the bottom of these false beams are coming down with the bottom of these on top of this column. And out here I have about 6 inches, and then the siding arrangement is mounted over that, laying over that. Alternately to that is something like a king post type thing put down through the center, and then the siding is recessed and essentially sits about flush with these beams here. And this is a 7¼ inch post with a beveled bottom. See, from this side, those soffits look a little weak when they're pulled all the way back to there. I think it's fine, but to me I just like them a little more when they had some more to them. In terms of your concrete slab, I show some slope directions on the plans, but that's just based upon my photos and what I observed out there. Note that I know that the grade here is down 9 inches, from this siding here. And the way I've got it, where it's coming over pretty much level to about here, sloping down at 3/16 per foot, and that still puts this is about 5 inches, which means even with a 4-inch slab, it's just on top of the grade there. So there probably is going to have to be some filling and grading around this, but this should work. I was not able to reasonably entertain lifting this patio up really any degree that was going to count, particularly since you would have to get into this siding to do that down here. But I didn't think that it was going to be a positive net effect raising that up, because no matter what we did, we were still going to have 2 risers down. See, in reality, the way the program does this is like this, but in reality this grade is down another 4 inches or so here, and so the whole side of this slab would be seen unless that's filled in or some other arrangement is made. These are the same finished photos of that end condition, and I kind of like that one. That's what's shown on the current construction drawings, with that as the only real alternative to that in my mind. I really like it from this end without the king post, or with it really. Either one works. This was with working with this thing here, and that's what I ended up doing on the inside, bringing that down all the way so that that had its own margin. And eventually I brought the siding down as well. And just more of how that alignment is. Right now I'm showing the edge of this finished with the edge of that column. And looking from this side, from the door or so, is like that. This was just, these are the various solutions that you can use for those margin beams. The one in blue is the one I called out. Now, these are presumably quite a bit less expensive. This was the other one that I thought was a decent solution. Some of these others, if you can get them, those will also work. Any of these on the list that you see will work. Some of them have a little bit more deflection, but anything shown here passes. A little section now on this step. I think there's already, I'm sure, plenty of traffic through this door, and it's only going to stay the same at the best. So either I think this should be made a little bit more of a platform for people to get in and out. And I've shown one arrangement just to make another wood little deck step, but just larger like that. I ended up just showing a curved concrete step just for the wear and tear and cleaning and so forth. And that, I believe, is what I showed as the final dimensions, and that's what's shown on the floor plan. So if you don't want that, let me know and that'll come off. And this was how that was the bigger platform like that. It just kind of looks not really made for the place. In concrete, you could do it in concrete. It looks a little better, I think, than just this. But I just did that, is what I'm showing in the plans. Let me know if that doesn't work for you as well. This was just, I wanted to see what this was going to look like from way across the valley there. And we're not going to do that, but those were the 2 final looks from across the valley. So that is really the summation of everything. The 214s is good as the 311s, probably even a little bit better, but your height might give you a headache. So yeah, for now I think that's about it. Thanks very much. Let me know if you want to change anything from what it's currently shown, which is largely what you're seeing here, with the next alternative being something like this. Thanks.